Hi, Ben from LabStrong. Let's say you're in the market for a new lab water purification system. But how do you know what type of lab water you need in your lab? Well, first, there are three main types of lab water that purification systems can produce: Type 1, Type 2, and Type 3, with Type 1 giving you the most purity. If you're looking for more information on each of the water types, check out our other videos. But knowing what type of lab water you need comes down to one deciding factor. What are you using it for? Each of the water types are best suited for different uses. Type 3 water, for instance, is best for non-critical lab functions. That means things like rinsing glassware and filling autoclaves. It also serves as a great feed water source for a Type 1 system. You can use tap water as a feed source for some Type 1 systems, but the reason you might want to choose a Type 3 system as a feed source would be to preserve the resins and other materials found in many Type 1 systems. In other words, cleaner water going into the system means less wear and tear on the system over time. If you're performing general lab applications, you might want to choose a system that produces Type 2 water. Some examples of general lab applications might be diluting samples or preparing culture media. Type 2 water is especially suitable for microbiology and bacteriology procedures. The pure water that comes from Type 2 systems is also great for buffers, pH solutions, electrochemistry, and preparing reagents for chemical analysis or synthesis. Finally, Type 2 water can make for an even purer form of feed water for another Type 2 system or a Type 1 system. Our LabStrong Cascade and FiStream stills make for great Type 2 water purification systems. Type 1 water is also known as Ultrapure water, and it's used for the most critical lab applications and required for analytical labs. Specific applications would be HPLC, cell and tissue culturing, DNA sequencing, and other molecular biology procedures, as well as any process involving trace elemental laboratory instrumentation. This is where our LabStrong Rapids Type 1 water purification system is perfect for your lab. In some scenarios, your lab needs might even call for even purer water. This is known as Type 1 Plus water, which is used for extremely sensitive life science applications. And our new LabStrong Rapids Elite Type 1 Plus water purification system is a fantastic choice for this need. One last thing to note is that the purer you need your lab water to be, the more it's going to cost. But in a professional lab scenario, when you need the purest of the pure, paying a little more to get years of pure water is a worthwhile trade-off. At the same time, you might be thinking, well, if Type 1 water is the purest form of water, why don't I just get a Type 1 water purification system and call it a day? Unfortunately, in some cases, using ultra-pure water from a Type 1 system might actually not be fitting and may even lead to poor results in your lab. The trace elements found in Type 2 and Type 3 water might actually be beneficial in some cases, like in some biological and marine biological procedures. Type 1 water is so pure that it could even corrode some substances like metals with prolonged contact. That's why it's important to know what applications you'll be using your lab water for so you can get the right system for your lab's needs. Plus, some companies, like us here at LabStrong, pride ourselves on making systems built around DIY maintenance and upkeep. That means when you buy a system from us, for instance our LabStrong Rapids or Rapids Elite, once the system is installed, upkeep costs are incredibly low, meaning you get pure water at a fraction of the price. For more information, visit us at labstrong.com.